Are you ready to continue a real discussion about vaccines? I'm Dr. AK with the Whole Human Health and Wellbeing. I'm a board certified emergency medicine and lifestyle medicine physician, and I focus on treating the whole human, keeping you healthy on the inside and healthy on the outside to keep you out of the emergency department. And we are going to get into more real discussions, transparent discussions about vaccines. Let's talk about the MMR vaccine and autism, right? Because that's everywhere on the news. You hear about celebrities who say their kids were given autism. So let's get into that. The short story is there is no connection between MMR and autism. But I think this warrants a long story, right? Because we have to know how we got here. So in 1998, there was a British gastroenterologist, that's a GI doctor, who was trying to establish this new syndrome between autism and kids having bowel problems. And so he did research where he looked at 12 kids. And he, in his research, identified that there's a timeline of the MMR vaccine and then developing autism and these bowel problems, right? And he published this paper in The Lancet in 1998. And that was the beginning of 12 years of drama. So the first thing that happened was investigators, like other researchers, were like, holy crap, like, could this actually be a thing? While this is a very, very small study, and while the methods aren't very strong, we need to look into it. And the reason they thought the methods weren't very strong is because it was a survey study. Basically, Wakefield and his team went to these parents and they were like, when do you remember this happening? When do you remember that happening? And they timelined everything, and then that's what they reported in the study. So obviously, I mean, who knows if people are going to remember things correctly? So the investigators were like, well, we need the independent investigators are like, we really want to reproduce this because, you know, this is a public health emergency if that's the case. Wakefield and his team of researchers would not share any of the raw data, none of it. So that was problem number one. Problem number two, people who did try and reproduce it, they couldn't get the same results. So then this investigative journalist, his name's Brian Deer, he started looking into this and he started finding out like who were the families that were involved in this study, and he would go talk to the families themselves. And the families, some of them were like, that's not what we said. That is what we said, but the timeline is completely wrong. Like some of these issues were happening before we got the MMR vaccine. So then there was this detailed like breakdown of the study. There was this huge investigation. And what they found out was Wakefield got a quote private grant to do this study. Well, that private grant was from a law firm. A law firm was giving him money because the law firm wanted to sue the manufacturers of MMR for causing autism. And then everything just blew up. There was this huge inquiry and investigation from the British government. Wakefield got his medical license completely stripped. And then in 2012, The Lancet redacted the paper. They said, we are so sorry that we published this. This whole thing was a sham and it was a lie. But that's 12 years. 12 years of this very flawed study with bad methodology of only 12 patients that created this entire generation of people with vaccine hesitancy. And that, my friends, is how we got to the link between MMR and autism. There have been multiple studies that have been done that show there is no link. Now, I'm not trying to tell you MMR vaccine is 100% safe and there's no issues with it. That is not the case. That is also a discussion point, not in this post, but in another one. So in a different post, we have that. All I'm telling you is if you're worried about measles and autism, that is not a thing. The MMR vaccine does not cause autism. I'm excited to talk more about these real data and transparency about vaccines. So stay tuned for some additional updates. See ya.